D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, where I come to you every Sunday with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and then we discuss them down below. You can also find the articles that I read to bring you this episode in the description, and you can, read them and make your own decisions about what's going on. So for my first story, it's very interesting that it broke earlier this week, and this is ironic because some other news broke about it the same day that Disney Plus launched. Now, so after 10 days, Apple TV's launch, they've already fired, they pretty much did what they did with Amy Pascal. And he's no longer the head of current programming for Apple TV. And instead, he'll have a producing deal to make shows that might air on the streaming services if they decide to use it. And if they like it, he has first rights. And sorry, I'm talking about executive. The executive they hired was Kim Rozenfeld, who's actually a male executive. And I think the problem with Apple TV is that nobody wants to subscribe to another service. And I think that whoever comes in next should make those shows a la carte, because personally, I don't want to pay for the whole streaming service. I just want to pay for specific shows, basically. I mean, for instance, I would totally pay for the full season of the morning show, and I would totally buy the new M. Night Shyamalan show, but I don't want the rest of them, and I think therefore I don't want to pay for an entire streaming service when I know I'm gonna just watch half of the stuff that they're putting on there. So they're looking for a new executive to take the place, and they're actually combining development and overseeing current shows, and that's what they're doing with that. So that's what they're going to do is they make it a single position because it's cheaper, and I think it shows that they're making not a lot of content right now. And 3 out of their 4 shows that currently air, Dickinson, All for Mankind, and C, all have been renewed for second seasons. The morning show, that's a very expensive show, so I think that they're not sure if they want to do a second season for it, and now it's got a lot of talent and everything, Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, Steve Carell, so they might not be able to do it because it's so expensive. So that guy's out, and they're going to be getting another person that's going to produce exclusive content just for them. And I don't know if he's taking over for so-and-so's position, but they are in talks with HBO's Richard Plepler. I think that's how you say his name. Now, if you don't know who Richard Plepler is, he kind of built HBO. He's very infamous for passing on things like Mad Men, but of course he built HBO into this juggernaut that it is today. Now, of course, he may have passed on Mad Men, but he did say yes to Game of Thrones, so I think he should get some credit for that. And he was most recently unceremoniously pushed out because HBO was bought as part of Warner Brothers by AT&T, and they felt that it was his fault that HBO was not as competitive as Netflix. And so therefore, they thought Richard had to go. So now he's moved on to Apple TV, and they're giving him exclusive producing rights. And the deal isn't done, but they're in advanced talks. And it's very interesting to see how that works out. And look for Richard Plepler to make that deal and see if he can make Apple TV what he did for HBO. So that's my first story. So for my second story, Black Adam has officially got a release date, and that's December 22nd, 2021. But the big question is The Rock's Black Adam really a villain? And the answer is, of course not. In his Instagram post, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and it got Black Adam trending this week, which debuted concept art of Black Adam, which I said we'll talk about that in a minute. Dwayne Johnson went on to specify that he's a more rebellious and rambunctious version of Superman, which is what Dwayne Johnson is, he said, is actually like in real life. He also said that his Black Adam doesn't walk the line and always does what's right for his people, but does it his way. Now, in this movie, Black Adam will be facing off against Hawkman and the JSA, which those roles are being cast as we speak. Now, as for the image that The Rock debuted, it's a combo by legendary comic book artist Jim Lee, who is one of the heads of DC, and legendary online digital artist Boss Logic, which I think says something about the fact that Dwayne Johnson is bringing those two fan divisions together. Now, this obviously is a very powerful image, and it's very true to the source material. And now, as far as the upcoming DCEU slate, Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 1984 are in 2020. And with this announcement, gives us 3 DCEU films in 2021. It gives us The Batman in June, Suicide Squad in August, and now Black Adam in December. So now that Black Adam is officially happening, what are your thoughts out of the gate for this movie, and what are your hopes for this movie? That is my second story, so why don't we just go ahead and move on to the third story. So that is the Joker has finally reached $1 billion and has joined the $1 billion club, which is a bit crowded these days, but still hallowed ground. So the Joker has danced his way into the $1 billion club, and he did it without China, and that's a lot of money that they could have got, but they didn't get it there. It's the only R-rated movie to do so, and it's the only live-action film made under $100 million, and that's great. Which means the money that the studio is getting back is going to be tremendous and everything, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other studios are wondering how they can copy that, and I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers is like, how can we duplicate this? Now, this is Warner Brothers' 7th billion-dollar movie, and as Forbes pointed out, there has not been a billion-dollar movie that's not been Disney or Universal since 2014, which I think is a little embarrassing for all the other studios, and they need to step up their game. And Disney pretty much owns the top 10 with 7 of those. And now that it's hit $1 billion, I really feel that they should really try to do a sequel. Now I know that they said they weren't going to do a sequel and that this was just a one-off, but in recent interviews, both Joaquin Phoenix said he would do a sequel, and Todd Phillips, the director, said he would do a sequel if the story was right. And for that, I say get the story right, because there's plenty of stuff out there to do and everything, and you're a creative, so you can figure it out. Now, I don't think they'll announce a sequel until after the Oscars, but I do think that that will happen. Now, I did a review for The Joker, and you can check that out here. And I found the movie to be very fascinating and so good. I even said that it was one of the best movies that I've ever seen, and I still hold to that statement because it is just so good. So tell me, how do you guys feel about these 3 stories? How do you feel about Apple TV already firing an executive right out the gate? I mean, they've barely been up and running, not even a month. How do you feel about Black Adam getting a release date and the whole Hawkman and JSA and everything and all that? And how do you feel about Joker making $1 billion, reaching that $1 billion club? Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next Week in Review next Sunday. You guys have a good week. Bye. Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my Week in Review.